All right, back again. WrestleMania prediction party, third outfit for me.
No, this is the first one, bro. We're getting this. This is the first one in order of it.
Three.
Well, yes, and it probably won't be your last outfit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's definitely not. We got like 8 more of these to do. Justin back again with meals, of course, in the place to be in Philly right now on location
That's
by
right.
satellite. We have the man himself, Stat Guy Greg. What's going on, Greg?
I'm not flexing. They should see the WrestleMania XL.
Yeah,
That's
there you go.
I'm pointing to the WrestleMania sign. I didn't get into the arenas yet during any of this road to WrestleMania, so I'm pointing at the WrestleMania sign.
Ding!
As only we can.
Gotta hit that bell,
man.
How you doing today? How you doing today, Greg?
I'm good. Better now that I get to talk graps with y'all, man, for sure.
How's the city? How's the city been? Is the city been in a buzz? You in Philly? Not from Philly, but you're in Philly. And,
yeah, I'm in Philly. The city has been in a buzz. You know, there's a shop over here called Suplex Vintage Wrestling. Mm-hmm. They have a social media presence. They got a little bit of a buzz. They've been going around. They've been like sort of banging the drum, letting everybody know that WrestleMania is going to be in town. The banners that go up every year when they go to a new city, those have gone up. I'm keeping my eyes peeled for a giant WWE title somewhere. I haven't seen it yet, but
what's weird is that when they were here last year, they just had big posters. I don't remember seeing the did you see like the ones on the street on the light poles out here? I didn't see them.
No, last year I don't recall if I did.
Yeah,
I saw like big billboards and big, but that's very LA though, right? Because like LA is walkable, but you got to drive to that neighborhood first. So that's the thing. Like they've just had the big billboards and posters all over the city because you was gonna be in that whip whether you leaving or you driving in. But so I can see that why they didn't decide to go with the lamppost. They went with something very LA.
A lot less traffic this year for you. You're
I remember when it was here for 35 that. Even though it's technically like MetLife, which is not here, but but because they still had like NXT Takeover, and I wish they did that still. Well, they actually, I guess they do, but they do it at an obscene hour in the morning. So I wish they did like stand and deliver like Friday night, something along those lines, so people can actually enjoy it. And maybe just do like you can do Hall of Fame anytime. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But
no, seriously,
but it's you really legitimately felt it. It felt like it took over the city, especially Brooklyn, and you had to go to Jersey to figure it out, and then you couldn't leave Jersey after it was all ended.
Right.
But when WrestleMania comes to your city, you definitely feel it, and it's a good feeling as a wrestling fan. Even all those years SummerSlam was here, I was just like, oh shit, SummerSlam week. I took off work, I did everything, man. Like,
yeah, man, they made it an event. They had like a residency, it felt like, in Brooklyn for SummerSlam week, and that was right after doing the same thing in LA. I think they had like a few years back to back of SummerSlams in LA, and then they did it in New York.
And I had just missed it. They had just stopped doing that the year before I moved here, and then they never came. They never did it again. So
literally, I feel like they rarely, seldom come to LA now.
I know it's literally. I think we'll get like Palm Springs. We'll get like areas that are outside of it, like Ontario. They get Anaheim. They were just to Anaheim a couple of weeks ago. I think the crypto is just such a hell to book. There's so much stuff going on in crypto all the time, whether it be Lakers, hockey. We had another team there at one point. They're about to go, so maybe it'll be easier because there won't be like because you got to remember, like, if there's not a Laker game, there's a Clipper game, and there's a hockey game at one point.
Man,
like,
they might go to the Clipper arena. You may have to be in the crypto. You know what I'm saying?
Crypto word.
But hey, I ain't hitting the Intuit Dome, bro. I'm not into it.
Yeah, we all live in the States. We'll be lucky if we get another SummerSlam the way they do it.
Exactly.
Mania is the only PLE you get in America. It's starting to look like that. Like, we added more and more international shows.
But it encourages, I think, as fans, it encourages us to go to other places. And I think that's the whole key is why they go to those other states or those other countries, is that they're trying to boost tourism. They're like, I mean, I know it's not plausible for a lot of people, but like, go to Australia. Just like, okay, I guess, because, they want people to follow them wherever they go.
Yeah, and it definitely does boost their brand. I mean, they had me regardless. I was locked in, but I can see them like boosting their brand and trying to take this to even bigger heights than I imagined it could go. Because I don't even think a few years ago I would have thought that they're approaching the point where half of the PLEs are not in the States.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, and it's not just the Saudi show where I have to just be up at a weird hour. It's like on the road to WrestleMania, you making me start 5 a.m. with some wrestling, and then okay, right after SummerSlam, you're gonna be back in Germany, and then like they're going to France right after WrestleMania. Like, come on, man.
It's crazy, and again, like it just shows like how global it is. And I think even just in the matches that we talk about today, very global. Like literally, I think this is the most. I guess like countries represented in one WrestleMania. Like there's so many countries that are being represented just in the performers this year. And I want to get into the 6 tag team ladder match. What do they call it? 6-pack challenge ladder match for the they need to break these titles up tag titles.
Oh, seriously.
What, Mills, do you have the competitors here? Because
I got the competitors. So we have, of course, Judgment Day will be hoping to retain their championships. I'm strongly hoping against, but here we are.
We'll see.
DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, who are making their WrestleMania debuts after being with the company for like a whole decade, trying their best to avoid the main roster.
To be clear, they didn't want to do this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's be honest about it now. Because when Michael Cole mentioned, they've never competed at WrestleMania, I audibly, and I talented guys, I love these guys, but I audibly said to the TV, so fucking what? First of all, because like this is not a participation trophy. Like I want to like, as much as it is for them, they work hard and build up to WrestleMania. For me as a fan, I want to sit down, especially as a fan who's, I'm 38. I've seen all the WrestleManias after 3 because that was my lifetime.
Yeah.
I sat through some shit. So now we're at the point where this is bigger than the Super Bowl, the biggest show entertainment. I don't want to just see a here, damn, you on the card competitive. Yeah. I want to see the best of the best bringing the best show. So the fact that they haven't been to a WrestleMania might have moved me 10 years ago, but I don't do the sympathy spots anymore. I'm here for the show.
Well, listen, this is the here you go match. It is what it is. It absolutely is. Okay. Because following up with DIY is the awesome truth, Miz and R-Truth. They have noted that R-Truth has never won on WrestleMania. They said that on commentary last week. Everyone was like, whoa, like you making it hot. So they're there. We have New Day, who's been a fixture at WrestleMania for the last decade and then some.
That's a here nigga damn placement. You want to talk about some here nigga damn?
Who was gonna representation? You know what I'm saying? You got A-Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller.
I love that name.
This is Austin Theory's sneakily. Austin Theory's like 3rd, maybe 4th WrestleMania.
Yeah,
He did one at the PC. He followed up against he faced somebody else before he faced Pat McAfee.
Yep.
And then last year he faced John Cena, and now he's back at his 4th WrestleMania. So shout out to him. Grayson Waller debuting at his 1st. And then we have New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate. Also pretty much long-standing folks, been in NXT. Finally got that call up. Actually, Pete Dunne was on WrestleMania last year. Shout out to him. Second WrestleMania.
Hey, I said this to Mills the other day on SmackDown. I wonder if you agree as well, Greg. I think if there ain't nothing that Triple H is gonna do, he gonna make sure Pete Dunne good.
Oh yeah.
He makes sure that kid gets everything, and he's a player, like for real. I think H loves Pete Dunne, and you can see that especially this year.
Pete Dunne has been, I think, H has loved him from day one, right?
Yeah.
It might have been even love at first sight, because I think about that NXT UK tournament that he didn't win.
Yeah.
But all of the moments from that tournament are Pete Dunne centered. It's like, he gets H shakes his hand and says, "Go make a name for yourself." I don't remember if that's before the tournament or after the tournament, but it's even if it's after the tournament, then that's even more of a cosign because it's like you didn't get the title, but you didn't need it. Yeah. And then him and Tyler Bate put on a classic, and he gets the title, and he holds on to it for a ridiculous amount of time. Basically sets the tone that we see Gunther and like establishes that lane of like, because Gunther held it for an absurd amount of time and then does the same thing with the IC title. You know, he gets his name changed on the main roster, but Triple H is on creative, make sure he has a character that he can work with. And now he's back to Pete Dunne, back to doing what he does, and except now it's on the main stage and people love him for it. So yeah, he's H for sure.
I'm still shocked, and I said this in the show. I was shocked that people reacted to the Pete Dunne thing, and people really liked the character. I would have thought no one would have remembered that who Pete Dunne was, and they still know who he is. And I think this just, I know this is an aside to just naming the competitors, but I gotta say I'm super like hats off to him. Like he's one of my favorite performers in the company, and just to see him in this stage is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So what are we doing with these tag team titles? Let's cut the brass tacks. Everyone, we got the nice little intros and stuff like that. What are we doing with these tag team titles? Judgment Day have had them forever, and then some. But the tag team division has never felt more stagnated at the top than the recent decisions that they've made with these tag team titles. What can they do with this kind of match? Essentially,
I think it's been floundering since, and we're going to talk about KO and Sami and them a little bit later. But I think that run kind of was maligned by injury, and I think that they wanted to do so much more. I mean, even KO and Sami, they were working pretty deadly. They were working with a lot of different tag teams on the roster at that point.
And KO can't shake Pretty Deadly.
Yeah, he really can. Bro, they've been crossing him up for a minute.
Yeah,
but I think that, like, again, it's like we thought there was going to be a change with Cody and Jay. That doesn't really end up happening. It's just kind of been bouncing around, and then Judgment Day, they barely kind of defend them. So a lot of people have wanted these titles to be broken up. I thought that they would have been broken up by now. The Usos are not the champions anymore. There's no need to keep them in a united lineage because the people that they wanted to get the record for haven't had them for a year. Yeah. So I think that ultimately what I think will happen in this match, win or lose, I think one team will grab one set of belts, and I think another team will grab another set of belts, and that'll be the breakup right there. That's what they should do, to me.
I agree. And especially this week, I'm finding it hard to disagree with that take, just because, again, it's loaded up with teams from Raw and teams from SmackDown.
Yeah.
And not only that, when Jay won the tag team titles with Cody, I thought, okay, they're gonna do something with this.
Yeah.
And then he lost it right back very quickly. And then fast forward to now, you see the tail of the tape, not to jump ahead to see any of these other matches, but it's Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. And on the tail of the tape, Jay has one more SmackDown tag team title reign than Jimmy and one more Raw tag team title reign than Jimmy. So it's like, okay, they're treating this as two separate belts. Yeah, he did it the one time with one tag team partner, but if they're treating this as two separate belts, then that separation it is imminent. I thought they were going to redesign it and do like a press release at the show and say, here's the new title, like
world tag team titles, WWE tag team titles. Right. It just seems like
no, go ahead.
Nah, it just seems like it's just, why have the division if they constantly have to like fight over who gets the opportunity to face the champions? And to be honest with you, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, as good as they are, and I realize that this title means that they're busy for a couple of months, of purpose a little bit, aren't just kind of like floundering and having these kind of like feuds that don't really mean anything. You essentially put these titles on them to say essentially like, hey, these are people you need to worry about, but not really that much. But like not like the world championship vibe, but they still mean something. Either way, I feel like they shouldn't even be like that pressed about these titles anymore. Let's get them off them. No offense, I think they've done a solid job considering everything. But they don't feel like the tag teams that we want to have it. Like it's Pretty Deadly has been floating around. I mean, the Creeds, Profits, everybody has just kind of been waiting around. And I feel like the titles have been purgatory since honestly the Usos had them and unified them, which is well over 500 days ago. So it's kind of it's tough. It's tough with these titles. However, I feel like while we do want these to be broken up, should we do like hey, here's a person we think is going to win, and then here's another team that we think could win if they pull both sides?
I look at it like if they have those belts on 2 separate rungs, then I think we cooking with gas. But if they have them all on the same rung, I'm just like, how do they do this so that it happens that way? But I do think that makes sense. Like 2 teams that we think could win and from each show, I guess. Like because I ultimately that's how.
I don't even think you need to be on a different show. You should like if it's SmackDown tag team titles and you're a Raw team, just go to SmackDown. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
a lot of them dudes got like relationships with people on the roster. So like Gargano and Ciampa can't do that. Or Gargano and Ciampa can't do that because
Yes, I'm not picking them. You know what I'm saying? Or I pick them to pick
Raw.
They don't get to go to SmackDown.
I'm really of the thought process that Gargano and Ciampa and or the New Catch Republic will win these. I'm really of the thought of I think it has to go to baby faces in my opinion, and I think those are like the 2 top babyface teams. So if they're not winning both, they're each winning their separate sets for their respective shows.
But you're forgetting the in case of emergency break glass tag team that's sitting right there in
the New Day.
Yes, yeah.
They don't need it.
They don't need it. They don't need it. But I mean, listen to what we've been saying about this tag title situation, right? They haven't meant something since the Usos. They've been stagnated for all these days, all this time. Sami and KO won it, and they tried as they might, but they didn't really take it to another level. Then the Judgment Day got it, and as dominant as they've been, it feels like it dropped off. Who's the team to take at least one of these titles back to that Uso level? It's the team that is on the level with the Usos. So I think they're gonna snatch down one set for sure.
Yeah.
Who would you have? Who would you have? Then maybe another set. What's your like backup in case emergency? Other set of person wins this one.
Listen, man, you're gonna love this answer. It's the Miz. You can't like the Miz and R-Truth. Those guys, they don't miss. Really, they don't miss. I mean, listen,
you done messed up my whole thing, bro. Get back on the screen.
He did. I'm going with Miz and R-Truth seriously, and especially because R-Truth is bringing the entertainment right now. It's not even the Miz gets to sit back and be the straight man for somebody else to do usually what he does and bring that entertainment to the show. And I think they're gonna have a nice, short, maybe not impactful, but a hell of a lot of fun run with another set of these titles.
I
so
feel
those
like
are my 2 teams.
I feel like with Miz, it's always all right, so how long till he turns? Like I feel like it's always how long till he's heel again. I actually like babyface Miz. I think the thing with Miz is that he's so easily adaptable to whatever position that he's in, and he hasn't been a babyface for this prolonged amount of period or of time in so long that I feel like him winning the tag titles is just that's when the clock starts ticking in the sand. You flip it and the sand starts going in the hourglass. It's like, well, he'll be healed by August. You know what I mean? And I think that part sucks.
So if I had to pick one that like in case they keep this shit together, that's going to grab these tag titles, I'm probably going to choose. Oh, good Lord, all these teams are like on the same level. I'm probably gonna go with I don't know. They're all kind of like do the same thing for me. I low-key think Austin Theory and Grayson Waller will grab a title. I think Austin Theory, Grayson Waller, there's someone who just to kind of keep them floating on that kind of brand, give them a little bit of notoriety, kind of make this work in a little interesting way. Can definitely do that. I feel like also.
Look at that. Go ahead, Greg.
Go ahead, Greg.
I'll be right back.
Right.
My fault.
You know, if I had to pick a set of tag teams to pretty much win this entire thing, I don't know why I'm leaning towards A-Town Down Under, because I legitimately just feel like they need some sort of tag team. They're too together. I don't know. They're always associated with one another. I feel like they have somewhat of an upside. I feel like they like Theory in a sense to keep moving forward with him. So I could see it with that. I could also see Awesome Truth, just based off my own biasness. And the mere fact that R-Truth has been alive for longer than WrestleMania and has never had a WrestleMania moment. But I don't know if R-Truth needs a WrestleMania moment, but fuck it, we're here anyway.
I don't know if the win makes for the WrestleMania moment to me. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of WrestleMania moments that people get looking up at the lights or crashing out of the ring, or just, it doesn't necessarily mean hands held high.
If there's any team that I could see of them causing the confusion for why they have to split these titles up because one pair grabbed one they weren't supposed to grab, I feel like it's R-Truth.
Yeah.
The whole thing just falls over and falls into R-Truth's hands or something similar to what they did. What did they did? I think they did it with Otis one year with the Money in the Bank. Yeah. It just falls in his hands and he grabs them. So I could see that as well. That's all I got for this. I really hope they split up these tag team titles.
I hope so as well. But I think it'll be fun. It's been a while since we had like a kind of wild kind of match like this, and I think it's kind of the only match of its type on the show, so it's definitely going to get attention because they're saving all of the gaga for what I believe will be Bloodline Rules. I'm pretty sure we're getting Bloodline Rules on Sunday. Like I there's no doubt about it. Next up, Dominik Mysterio, Santos Escobar versus Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. This was just announced a couple of days ago on SmackDown. Again, I think that what they've done is kind of extended a storyline, and we haven't actually spoke about SmackDown yet at length on the show yet, but this match fulfills 2 or 3 things. It gets Santos on the card because he's been kind of like their main mid-card bad guy for the past year. He's been holding it down, and he's actually earned this spot. You're extending the Dom and Ray thing, which you could split hairs and say that it ended last year, but it didn't really end. They just kind of went their separate ways.
They're father and son. It's not over ever.
Yeah, and then you have Dragon Lee, which is the new guy that they want to push. And to be fair, the one thing I can say about this regime is that they do not give up on people that fast. And with Dragon Lee, I do have my issues with that segment because I felt like there should have been more juice to it. I mean, Dragon Lee lost to Santos like a couple of months ago at a pay-per-view, and it was
lost to Santos like 2 weeks ago.
It was like no fanfare. It was like no like anything going on with like Dragon Lee has pretty much been a loser for the past like year.
He's a herb.
But I think they've been waiting for a moment to give him. And I think that in a way, like all these guys work together because Santos has worked with Ray, who's worked with Dom, who's worked with Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee's given Dom his best matches by far, multiple times over the past year, and they all know how to work with each other. So it's kind of a win-win, and you're trying to build up, Dom's WrestleMania cachet, and you are also giving Santos a moment, and you're also kind of extending it. So I get it in that sense. I just don't like the way that it's been presented in the past month.
I feel like I don't know if there's nepotism involved. I don't know who Dragon Lee is related to. But the mere fact that he's in this match on WrestleMania and just kind of being, you can argue it's not plopped out of nowhere, right? You can argue it's not plopped out of nowhere. But literally a month ago, he was just NXT North American champion. He was literally not even focused on this brand like that.
What's weird is that he was called up he had the visa issue, and I felt like that probably pissed somebody off, and they said, take his ass back to Orlando.
They said, give it back to Dom. Give it back to Dom.
Yeah, and they put him on NXT for a minute, and then he like kind of, I don't even know if he really got Obafemi over like that, because it's not like Oba beat anyone that was, he didn't beat Ray, he just beat Dragon Lee, who's been on the show for the past year and a half. Right. But it was like Dragon Lee's trajectory has been very odd, and that's why, Meals, I look at this match as a course correction for him, where they're like, okay, let's finally kind of get the ball rolling with this guy, because we already see Ray. We saw the Ray match with Santos. We thought he got injured again. Like it's looking like it might be a wrap for Ray real soon.
And to jump in real quick too, you said you don't know who Dragon Lee's related to. I don't either, but Dragon Lee does have the mask, and I think that at least that's going to be enough for it to make sense with him and Ray against Santos and Dominik, who I've been, Legato literally translates to legacy, right? And I love that Dominik Mysterio has found a way. Can y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Hold on.
That's funny.
I'm working.
I love that Dominik Mysterio has found a way to be a part of the Latino legacy faction. Like he fits the mold completely in terms of who they are, what they're meant to be, and what they're supposed to mean to Lucha Libre going forward. So I love that. I feel like him and Santos is a natural fit just as much as any other team on the roster.
I'm still not. Maybe it's because they introed it so. They do things on purpose, clearly. They do things on purpose. So I'm not going to act like they're not doing things on purpose. This is clearly meant to do something. I think Carlito's heel turn is definitely on the way. Because the mere factor, like, the newest member of LWO and Carlito standing right there. And then they say Dragon Lee, and his face is the mere fact that Carlito is the one who blew the whistle on Santos, just in general. The reason why this is all happening in general is because Carlito is the one who says Santos Escobar. And
Carlito, who's also a second-generation superstar. This is what people are also overlooking.
Yeah. And the mere fact that he's the one, when Ray got injured, and then he also got beat up. Damn, Santos really been laying out everybody. But Carlito's the one who beat Santos a number of weeks ago in that street fight match.
Yeah.
So the mere fact that we're not really getting this kind of encounter, to me, is definitely like, and they do this on purpose, because Carlito's not wearing LWO shirt. He's still wearing his own merch. He's kind of like, maybe he's not really in the group, but he's in the group. Not sure.
But Neil, Puerto Rico is coming. It is coming up. But that's a Raw show, isn't it?
Whether it's Raw or not, I feel like they should bring Carlito anyway.
But I think it's purposeful, but you also extend in the cusp of Santos having a really dope ass group of second generation, third generation Latino stars, and I think he could be the leader of his own legacy type faction that could really be dope. And I think Dom being part of that, I look at that and I'm like, Dom doesn't look that bad with that group at all. Like they look like badass. And if the dissolution of the LWO is what they're going for, I could see this being the beginning of it. And I think that's a really big story. But when it comes down to winners, I say you give Dom his win back. I know Dragon Lee looks like a loser, but I think you got to give Dom his win back. I think you got to give Santos his biggest win thus far on the biggest stage. And I think it's going to be Dom and Santos. And I think this also leads to whatever Dom's got going on back in Raw with Andrade, and all of that stuff. Like, I think you got a lot of stuff cooking here if Ray and Dragon lose.
See, when somebody takes my thoughts and just spits them out so perfectly and so eloquently.
Well, thank you.
There's nothing left for me to say except I concur, J5, for all the reasons that you said. I too am gonna pick. If we have to do predictions, I too am gonna pick Santos and Dominik Mysterio.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pick them just because I don't think Dragon Lee should be here. I'm a big Dragon Lee hater currently. I think he's a herb. I think he doesn't have what people are actually looking for.
You thought he was a herb in AEW too?
I didn't really watch him in AEW, but from that one clip that I saw where he got launched into the crowd, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And then he got unmasked in front of people and then did nothing about it. Absolutely.
Well, that's because his contract ran out, but okay, go
ahead. But either way, no, I mean, with Dragon Lee, as much I see the ability, I see everything that we got, but it reminds me of a lot of the previous like experiments that they've tried to have with bringing luchador wrestling over and not really providing much of a personality of something, and hopefully having them get over just on the nature of their abilities. And Dragon Lee, to me, nothing is screaming cool like Rey Mysterio does. Like Rey Mysterio, even back in the day, you knew Rey Mysterio was cool. WCW late, WCW early WWE, you knew he was cool. Dragon Lee does not scream cool to me. But Rey Mysterio probably likes him because he's got well mannered and better than his son and all the other shit like that. I completely get it.
I don't know if he's better than his son.
I mean, I'm sure he thinks he's better than his son. But I'm sure the match will be great. Ish.
It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary that the one person when the one person in this match you're kind of worried for is Rey Mysterio, because the other guys are just like kind of moving a lot. Like Dom moves methodically because he's a heel. He doesn't really do a lot of the big time stuff anymore. But it's like,
and he's a little bit more lankier than the other ones too.
Yeah, like Ray be scaring me in the ring lately. I've been like, calm down, brother. Like I don't want you to get hurt again.
I feel like this match is going to get cut for time. Don't quote me on this though. Not like cut completely, but like if there's a match if some match goes too long and they're like, well,
I don't know, because I feel like they don't really have a time limit. That's number one, because it's not like they gotta cut anything. It's also it's starting earlier. Also, I think that's something that we forgot to mention at the top of the show.
Right.
The show starts at 7. So it's starting earlier, so they don't have to run into that. But the main event matches are the matches that are probably going to be going long this year, for sure.
And let's be honest too, Ray has a history of, well, not a history, but there was that one Mania where Ray and Dom, they had to make some adjustments because Drew cut the rope.
Yeah,
for no damn reason. And it's like, what are the luchadors supposed to do if they can't bounce off the ropes because they're not back in time? So I think, whatever they throw at Ray and Dom, they're gonna be able to make it work because they already had to on the stage like this.
Much.
It was at a WrestleMania.
Yeah. I again, heels got to win this. Everyone will be better for it. I think it all came back around that Ray probably wanted to have this moment for his son, but also for his other sons, being Dragon and Santos. I think he also loves those two guys, and I think he will love nothing more than to put all those guys over during that match. So,
and then Carlito can beat up Dragon Lee, and then we can move on with all.
Listen, I'm not a huge fan of Carlito in ring since his return. So, like, it is what it is. Wherever that happens, wherever that goes with me, like, I'm fine with it. But this is all in the benefit, I think, of catapulting Dom to another level, Santos to another level, and getting Dragon Lee on track as to potentially be the next babyface. And it probably, maybe it won't work, Mills, but they're trying. And I think that's what I do appreciate about this regime more than the other, because his ass would have been on speed already if it was Vince.
Yes, seriously. And he might be on his way to speed. Who knows?
Yeah, man, you might be speed, baby. Don't sleep.
Next match. And I'm glad we got you here for this, Greg, because this is kind of like a conversation that we have to have about just everything about this show and about why. And I mentioned how diverse it was and how crazy it was to see certain things. So you have a 6-woman tag team match: Damage Control versus Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi. Where do you start? where do you start with something like that? You have three really talented women in Dakota Kai, who's kind of experiencing like her first kind of major moment here. Kairi, Sane, and fucking Asuka, who's like, a legend in her own right, versus Bianca versus Naomi, who just came back, and Jade Cargill, who just debuted literally like 7 days ago. And you have 3 talented, athletic, incredibly amazing game changers in these 3 black women, and they're putting them in a team. if you are a black person, a black woman, a black boy, anywhere, this is something where you see yourself truly, and you're like, this is monumental. This is crazy, and that's what I look at it from. Like, win or lose, this is a fucking crazy look.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have superheroes, like on both sides too, really, right? Like, you know, because EO, the Genius of the Sky, is not just something they came up with and they gave that. They did that because when she hits the air, she has such incredible control over her body and what she's able to do.
Yeah,
that it blows your mind. And Asuka, she's winless at WrestleMania, and it does not matter. That is how incredible she is. That type of stuff just bounces off of her. Right. That win-loss record that people seem to care so much about, it doesn't matter. And then, you know, Dakota Kai, like you said, she's on a level that nobody imagined for her, not just in terms of what she can do in the ring, because we knew that, but her being the mouthpiece for this team that nobody thought she could be, because Bayley was doing that for the past year. And then on the other side,
they have Kairi Sane, who's going to be in this match. Kairi Sane is she just came back. She's getting her foot ready. She's getting everything ready, and she's already back on WrestleMania. It's pretty tough. Like, this is a good look for her as well.
That's money talk.
And Kairi Sane might be, I can't believe I forgot her, because she might be the most dangerous one on Damage Control, because she isn't just willing to do whatever to her opponents. What we've seen from her, especially in this run now that she's come back, is that she has taken the phrase, they put their bodies on the line to the extreme, and she will do whatever as long as it means that her opponent is suffering.
She's loopy. I love the kind of like, you have no clue what she's gonna do when she comes out.
No, you don't.
The fans signing autographs. They're like, no, you're not supposed to be doing that. You're a heel. Like, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, bro. She's crazy.
You don't. But I say all that to say too, though, like, as much as I can glow and gush about Damage Control, I mean, Bianca, Naomi, and Jade is you know, I love that they've come together, and I love the way that they came together, because it wasn't just like as simple as, you know, they're here, let's put them on a team and let's go at it. It did take weeks of build.
They've been built. Jay ran into EO. The EO was talking shit about her. They've been talking shit for the past couple of weeks. Naomi and Bianca, they've been getting beat by Damage Control. In a certain way, you could say that Jade signed to SmackDown because she had more smoke with people on the show she wanted to get with. So I saw a tweet that said, oh, they keep doing this. They keep just putting all the ethnicities together. And I'm just like, they have a common bond. It's not, hey, you're black and you're black. Like, no, like Naomi and Bianca are legitimately friends on the show. And then Jade is just coming in. They might not know each other, but it's like, this is a first time tag team. They might not even get it together. They might lose. I don't think they will, but you know, they might have to work some things out with this. But I want to talk about Jade Cargill, because there's a lot of conversation to be had, clearly, about the way she left AEW, her role within AEW, the weight that it took, the Royal Rumble moment, all these stories that have been, you know, said and shared about people. But I think the one thing that's been constant is that a lot of people have said that if she goes somewhere that has a big production value and that values the way their stars look and the way their stars are presented, she is going to be a next level star. She is finally here. And I think that it's really interesting that the conversation is now, and I've seen this, she was always treated well in AEW. She just sucked. That was the conversation base. And I'll be clear. I wasn't a huge fan of the matches, but I understood why they were what they were. And that's because she didn't have the people there to teach her. And to be fair, we still haven't seen what she can do yet in ring. This will be our first time seeing it. I think perfect, amazing that this is going to be the first time kind of seeing it. They did the same thing with Omos, I think, a couple years ago.
They saved Omos for WrestleMania, for sure.
They saved them. And I think, again, big time moment there. But I want to know what you guys think about the presentation thus far. And if you guys, you know, if it's living up to what you guys thought WWE could do with her, especially with giving her this big platform. And I'll start with you, Greg.
I think it is. I think it is living up to what I thought they could do with her because, I mean, even if you talk about that criticism that people said, right, you know, in AEW is like they gave her a lot, but she just sucked. It's like, well, wrestling is about the illusion, right? It's the illusion of conflict. It's the illusion of violence, the illusion of chaos. So if her ability is piercing that illusion, then I'm sorry to say that's not on her. Mm-hmm. That's on her bosses that are putting her in that position. That's on her colleagues, the master illusionists, let's say, that's letting her expose that sleight of hand. That's on everybody else that put her in that position. That's not just on her. And then here you have WWE, who is really controlling that illusion to the point now where there is not even a narrative for them to control, because Jade is the one that everybody wants to see when that match starts,
right?
And when they ring the bell. Jade is somebody who everybody was excited for when she walked out into the Royal Rumble, and she was able to showcase her abilities in front of all those people. And it's like, oh yeah, she's got it. We didn't really see anything. We just got that illusion. Yeah. You know what I mean? It goes back to what Becky was saying about Ronda Rousey and Ronda's debut. It looked incredible. I was in the audience for that. I was like, oh, Ronda's one of them ones.
Yeah.
She was in there with the master magicians, and they controlled that illusion and they projected that image. So if we can sit back, if I can sit back and I can identify somebody that sucks, that means that somewhere along the way, some of the people involved in creating this image that we got to get on Monday Night Raw or AEW Dynamite or WrestleMania or wherever else, one of those people mishandled the illusion, and then it blew away the cloud of the magic that we're supposed to get. And I don't think that we're going to see that when it comes to Jade at WrestleMania. I think with Bianca and Asuka and Naomi and Kairi and Dakota and a 6-man tag match where she can be in and out and weave in and out of the action, we're going to get that magic.
Yeah.
And by the time she's ready for a singles match, the illusion will be complete. We will believe. And it's going to be all right there for everybody to just say, wow, she's one of them ones.
Because again, like you look at the way that it happened, and I think it's funny because there were so many people that were like within AEW that like defended her like vehemently, and then when she left, she always sucked. It was like, fuck her, we never won her anyway. You know what I mean? And I think that on her, it was a bet on yourself moment. You know what I mean? It was a bet on herself moment. But think of the timing, y'all. She leaves in September. Punk is there by November. Cody's already there. She has, as you said, Greg, a lot of master magicians that want to see her succeed, including the headmaster, Triple H.
Yeah.
And now you have her in a ring filled with people that can make this magic happen. And Bianca, who's done it multiple times at Mania, she don't lose at Mania. All right.
Undefeated.
Naomi, who's and we haven't even got to Naomi. She just got back. There's a conversation surrounding her about you know, what's she doing? Why would she go back? She did things for her. She betted herself when she left, and she came back, and now the bet's paying off. She's on Mania again. Right. She's under the bright lights again, and she's shepherding the new generation of Jade Cargill. And I think again, it's full circle moments. It really is full circle moments. What were you going to say, Mills?
No, I think just in general, I mean, just the mere fact that this is happening, you couldn't even say that a year ago this would be an insane venture. This would be like the forbidden door of forbidden doors. You know what I'm saying? Well, this would be somehow Impact, AEW, and WWE getting together, and maybe even New Japan Stardom working all together. But I think what WWE has done over the last number of years and what they continue to do is continue to build their women's division and continue to support their women's division in various different ways. And I think the addition of Jade Cargill, when you talk about someone who you need that superstar power, this is going to be someone who, even if there isn't a title match on the card, and if you have a match with her, it's possibly one of the biggest attractions on the card. I think Jade Cargill, and I appreciate them taking the time to not really rushing her out and say, we want to get her to a level where she can go and she can build up that cachet, similar to what Dom has done over the last year or so. Build it up in the ring to make it work. So we don't have to worry about, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, love Jade, can't tell you how many times in AEW we've seen the match, and it's clear the experience wasn't there. And to be honest with you, the opponents weren't there to really bring her along neither. And she was never even given this is what makes it so different, right? She was never given the caliber of opponent that would be able to get her to that level. She was never in a ring against a Britt Baker. She was never in a ring against a Jamie Hayter. She was never in a ring against the top women stars in AEW. But immediately as she comes to the WWE, she's in the ring with Bianca. She's in the ring with Naomi. She's in the ring with Damage Control. And one could argue, to be honest with you, that the curve is just different on this level. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, she's coming. She's having this moment last Friday, when that entrance hit, when the lasers, when that entrance hit, we were like, oh man, like, and then she didn't overextend her time in the ring. Listen, we watched a couple of debuts recently. She didn't talk her off. It wasn't to be honest with you, if you want to keep it a buck, it wasn't the best promo, but it was a promo that got to the point where it needed to go. And it wasn't, it didn't overextend itself. It didn't talk about anything. It didn't run back around in circles. It was just like, Jade Cargill is here to make an impact, and that is what she's going to do. And surely enough, by the end of the night, she did that.
Yeah.
Right now, she's getting a second chance to start this over again. She's getting a second life, and not a lot of people get that chance in wrestling. I mean, we're seeing CM Punk kind of start his second life now in WWE. You know what I mean? Not a lot of people get those opportunities, and I think the excitement here is seeing her put it together. In the same way that we said about Bianca Belair, is that when she puts it together, she's going to be out of here. And I think the same goes for Jade. It's about as far as she wants to take it. You know what I mean? And I think to have these three, like I said before, these three Black women on this stage, never in my 36, 37 years of life have I seen anything this monumental, this exciting
in wrestling.
Yeah, in wrestling.
You know what I mean?
Like wrestling. This is crazy. This is nuts, bro.
Yeah, like you got 3 FloJos out there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that's essentially what it is, and they're the top of the top. And
while, sorry to cut you off, and while even Bianca Belair, she's used to these like massive moments at WrestleMania. I mean, her bar is incredibly high based on the first 3 years of her thing. All world title matches, all fantastic opponents. This is still an incredibly meaningful match, just based on what we're having presented to us. This is, I mean, we talked about the first 2 women in main event WrestleMania a couple of years ago. You got pretty much the all-star class here. You got the A-team. You got, they're making history. This is Destiny's Child in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? This is that. Like, this is here. We're here.
Yeah, and so, it really is just going to be incredible to see. And I think too, Jade just being in that spot is a huge vote of confidence. It's massive. Like, regardless of what anybody can say about, well, this is what she did in AEW and this is how she's performed and all of this and that, we haven't seen her wrestle in a long time. That doesn't mean she's been sitting on her ass for a long time. They could have put her in any brand and inserted her into any storyline. So for her to get dropped into this, under this regime, under a guy like Triple H, who is so meticulous, right? And takes every detail seriously and make sure that everything is perfectly crafted with the right spice blend, for him to sprinkle some Jade into what we're getting right now, when it could have just been a tag team title match, right? Naomi, it could have just been, oh, I'm back for the tag titles that I never lost. Bianca, I need some help. They hate you. They got something I want. They got something you. It could have been something simple like that. But for Jade to be inserted into this and them not even to take it there, huge vote of confidence for Jade, and I think she's gonna knock it out of the park. I was gonna say she's gonna hit a home run, but that's the other stadium. In Philly, she's gonna be it's good touchdown.
from what I hear, from where she's been training at, I think by the end of this year, by the end of that night, I think we gotta call Natty generational. I think we probably gonna have to call Natty generational by the end of the night. If what I'm hearing is true, poor Tony Khan. So who do we think's winning?
There's no doubt in our mind who's winning.
Yeah, I mean,
have you seen them? Can you look at the material, as they would say? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's got to go to Team Black. Team Black women.
Yeah,
Black Girl Magic.
There's no other options to pick.
Absolutely.
So lastly for this segment, we're gonna come up to the Intercontinental title match between Gunther and Sami Zayn. A lot has been made about this, which I was not expecting, and I think Sami himself was not expecting all of the drama to be made about this match, about him being in it, about him facing Gunther, when literally just 1 year ago everybody wanted him to be in the main event of WrestleMania.
Seriously,
Gunther, nearing 700 days as Intercontinental Champion. They've built kind of a really crafty little storyline here with Sami doubting himself, not believing in himself, something again to speak to Greg's meticulousness, something that they have been building for quite some time here, even before Sami took his little sabbatical a couple of months ago, of him not being able to win the big one. And now we're in Philly this weekend with him facing his biggest challenge yet. What have you thought about this so far, Mills?
The Sami Zayn run, I'm not sure if it's supposed to culminate with the Intercontinental Championship, but we have done. If you've listened to our Patreon show, shout out to the Patreon, patreon.com/EHRNC. We've talked about this extensively, and I think it's finally time we can kind of like talk about it no holds barred. But Sami Zayn's run over the last year, he's been cemented as a superstar. He's been cemented as someone who able to work. He's been cemented as someone who, to me, has become a WrestleMania card mainstay. Which is why the conversation surrounding the Chad Gable thing never really made sense to me, because to be honest with you, we love Chad, but Sami Zayn's not coming off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Chad Gable's a bench player.
Not anymore.
No, definitely not anymore.
No. And Sami Zayn's now currently a starter. He's being paid starter money as well. So you're going to want to use him in these opportunities. And he's also built this cachet with the fans, real genuine connection with the fans. Meanwhile, Gunther, this is someone who I feel like has elevated himself through this title reign. He made the title and also made himself. He did what was previously unthinkable. At no point did we think that we would get this when I watched Gunther at NXT TakeOver New York 2019, where he was like 50 pounds heavier. He was beating up Pete Dunne. He was, but I don't know if he had it fully together as much as he did now. He has been killing. And to me, this match.
Did we know he was a good promo like this either? Like, do we know he was a good promo?
No, I don't even think he knew.
And it's witty, and it's like little quips that flow into the conversation. It's not like it's anything that I'm to believe that somebody put in there for him to say. Because he had one moment with Jay where Jay came out and he was like, "Oh yeah, I get it," and he did like a little stiff bounce that like he danced a little bit while he was making fun of Jay. And I'm just like, "Yo, Gunther's low key hilarious." And it's
low key, I think the confidence came with the weight loss. To be real with you, confidence came with the weight loss. He had got a good girl in his arm. You know what I'm saying? Got a new kid. Got a bunch of things.
Possible.
Everything is moving. If what I'm hearing is true, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. If what I'm hearing is true, Gunther got it going on. Is what I'm saying.
Listen, Gunther is one of maybe 5 to 10 people. Right, I'm including men and women in this statement that I'm about to make, and tag teams, managers, whatever you want to say. Gunther is one of like 5 to 10 people in the company that don't exist in the shadow of Roman Reigns right now in this era. He is like he's in his own lane, his own stratosphere, and he did it without even sniffing the main event.
Right.
So it's like you have to have respect for Gunther. You have to have respect for Gunther, and you have to be worried about Sami Zayn too, because Gunther puts hands and feet on people with bad intentions. Let's just call it like it is. They get hands and feet for about 20-30 minutes with bad intentions, and then he whoops them bad because he's like, all right, now I'm gonna just body slam you and it's gonna be my finisher. Or today I'm feeling like ending you with the clothesline. Or today I might end you with the power bomb. Yeah, a splash might finish you off. Like
a functional move set, like a functional move set. You know what I'm saying?
One that won't hurt him. One that won't hurt him.
No, seriously.
Yeah, like I think what this match to me is, and I think that like no other match has the ability to steal the show like this one does. I think Sami has it in him to give us one more Nakamura Dallas moment. I really and I hope I'm not wrong, but I hope that that's where we're going. I hope that that's what we're feeling here with this match, and I hope that's the feel. I don't know what night this is going to be on, but whatever night it's on, I would hope that someone would be paying attention to what they do and try and be a bigger babyface than Sami is, because it's not about him being in the last match of the night. It's about being better than whatever Sami and Gunther are going to do earlier in that night. Yeah. And I think that's the challenge that everyone's going to have on whatever night that they're on. And I think people should look at it like that. Sami's going to be the best babyface of the night wherever he is on that night. It is up to the Codys, the Beckys, the fucking KOs, the Ortons to be better than he is at being a babyface at that moment. And I think that's what this match is. But when it comes to who wins, I think it gets a little bit trickier.
Yeah,
I'm not fully sure yet.
I don't know.
I'm unsure, and I'm unsure, but I choose sides. I pick a side and I stay there and I rock out. And so because I'm being asked to choose, I just have to remember that Sami Zayn is this perennial underdog, right? He's always been the underdog. You always want to for him. Even when he was a heel, his thing still was, I'm an underdog because there's a conspiracy against me. Everybody's trying to hold me back, right? And so the thing about underdogs, though, is that every once in a while, when you least expect it, when they're up against probably the biggest, meanest dog in the fight, they walk away with one. And so I feel like Sami is going to walk away with this one. And that's the thing that was so disappointing about people when they said, oh, we wanted Chad Gable in this spot, or we wanted this or that. It's like, come on. We love Chad Gable. He's an incredible wrestler. He feels like the second coming of Kurt Angle. But Sami is 101 right now. Like, what are we doing here? We got Sami in the ultimate underdog spot.
Mm-hmm.
This is a position made for him. He's gonna deliver, like you said, J5. He's going to deliver.
Yeah, every time. And I think that the challenge is if Sami wins, I think the challenge with that win, Greg, is like, where does he go from there? I think that he has to have like a foil that matches him on that level afterwards. And there's no shortage of like upper mid card talent on Raw, but it's like who can match him as a heel that like Gunther can. And the reason I say that I think Gunther is going to win is because I feel like they are going to his, they're going to his home country again in the summertime. But I also feel like maybe that's the best time for him to lose it is in his home country. But then I think I'm like, well, H doesn't really have people lose that often in their home country. Then I say, oh, he just had Drew do it he did years ago. So it's like
Sami do it last year.
Yeah, Sami
all the way to Montreal.
So like
screw job.
So I'm like, maybe it makes more sense for Sami to win, but it's like, where does Gunther go from there? Because that world heavyweight title situation on Raw right now, y'all, is to me very locked in as to who's going to get it next, who's coming up next. To me, it's the Damian, Drew, Punk, Seth show for the foreseeable future, unless one of them gets hurt. And for that, Gunther has to be heel for all of those. Drew's already, to me, a bigger heel than Gunther is, and they've already did their squabble. So maybe you have Gunther hold it until it's time for him to get it in the fall. Maybe.
I'm like everyone else. I'm conflicted in a sense, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if I'm a betting man, which actually I am.
Shouts out to FanDuel.
Shout out to FanDuel. Shout out to the sports book. Shout out to Otani.
OTB,
yeah, a little bit, a little Jonte Porter on this. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going with Gunther for sure. However, I feel like there's a universe for Sami. I feel like this is an incredible opportunity for Sami to come away with the victory. It's WrestleMania 40. Two, they're building this thing of like, can he truly win the big one? There is no better, there are people who could take us and it'll be great. There was a whole 6-pack challenge to get this, and they were all great competitors, and credits to the human race and all that other great stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Sami Zayn has if you want to make Sami Zayn into really and have this moment and have him really be that guy, he's had the bloodline thing, but if you want to make him post that, this is the moment that you have. This is the moment where Sami Zayn can cross over to that next level. We've known Sami Zayn as the plucky baby face, and to be honest with you, he's kind of, even through the bloodline stuff, he was that. I mean, he was still the plucky baby face who can get a victory here and there. But if you want to make him a guy, if you want to make him mean something, this is the opportunity. 10 years ago, Brock Lesnar beat Undertaker, WrestleMania streak. And that forever changed the way we saw Brock Lesnar. Forever. Sami Zayn has the possibility, if you want to make him, he's going to be a Hall of Famer anyway, but if you really want to say, like, listen, this is a guy.
Yeah.
This is where we do it. Gunther's already a guy. Gunther can lose the championship. He can take a break for a month. He can come back for the Revenge of Gunther tour. And he can, figure out how to maneuver this. Also, to be honest with you, there is a show in Germany coming up. I'm sure there's going to be a world title match. If you want that plausible deniability for this world title match, you don't let Gunther go in undefeated into that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If he does go into that, if you want that plausible deniability, if you want people that you don't want him to go into that. As much as everyone's already booking in their mind because of the news that came out about Ilya recently, and everyone's booking, Gunther and Ilya and stuff like that. This is the moment for Sami Zayn. This is the moment that he kind of needs to get to that kind of like, wow, he's truly a guy.
Yeah.
Now, again, it depends on what they do with Sami after this, but to be honest with you, he's in the eclipse of this massive reign. It's never going to be as good as this Gunther reign. It just isn't.
And I mean, again, this is a mania full of underdogs. To Greg's point earlier, this is a mania full of every single title match. It's underdog versus kind of like a reigning long-term champion. Everyone on this card, long-term 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000-day reigns. And it's just really up to us to kind of predict, like, damn, where are they going to go? Is this really going to be a full reset? Is this a mania where it resets for the next 10? Is really the idea here. Is like that we've seen the first 30. It started with Brian at the end. Who could it end with at the end? Is it gonna start with the underdog, end with one? Or start with again? Like where are we gonna go with it? So I still got, but what do you think?
I'm
Meek Mill already out there.
He's already there. Sami Zayn doesn't have to win with the haluva kick and stuff like that. He just needs to put Gunther's shoulders down for a 3 count.
Yeah.
I am going to go for the moment because this show, we're going to have the moment. We already know what we're looking forward to and we're already thinking. I'm going to go with Sami Zayn on this one. I know the odds are against me. I know this is like me picking the Detroit Pistons versus the fucking Boston Celtics at this point. But every once in a while, they got something in them. And I truly believe that Sami Zayn, while he's not able to beat Roman Reigns, can certainly do this and certainly cement his own legacy. So I'm going with Sami Zayn.
Okay. Well, I'll be glad. I'll be happy to be wrong. I'm just going with just like I feel like Triple H is like I need just one. I just need one person to have a long reign right now. I just need one person. Easiest person to do that is Gunther. Who knows? But yeah, I'm not mad at it. But I'll be very pleasantly surprised and happy to be wrong there. But I'm not happy to say that is all the time we have for you today, Greg. I'm so sorry.
I am happy to say, though, that I was able to talk about this specific run of matches because when you look at the rest of the card, I mean, Mill said this off air. This was the set of matches that was light and fun, and the listeners are going to be able to enjoy. Because when you get down close to that main event, both main events really, whether it's that tag match or it's the night 2 main event or the WrestleMania Sunday main event of Cody and Roman, you say the wrong thing, somebody gonna call you a dickhead.
It's gonna be a bloodbath, brother.
The thing is, me and
Mills, I don't want to be no part of that.
Me and Mills
don't smoke with that.
Me and Mills have not shaken from what we said earlier in the show and earlier what we said earlier this year. We are going one way, and they better go this one way. There's no other way. This has to end, and it better end this way. And I know you got your way you wanted to end, Greg, and that's all fine and well.
My lips, I'm keeping it in the Discord. I don't want no smoke with the general show listeners, but
it needs to end one way. We need some. It's been a good run.
The greatest, not just good, the greatest.
It is, and actually, I want to actually bring you back to talk about the reign as it is or as it was, and
or as it will be. We'll see after the week.
Get down to brass tacks, really, about why this was such a monumental 4 years that led up to this moment, and I think that this Mania is just such a. This is Triple H's Mania, and we're seeing that with the car, we're seeing that with the build. And I want to bring you back and let's talk about it some more after WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I will definitely be happy to come back and discuss Roman Reigns and why I think he's the GOAT and why I think this reign has been so incredible. Whether it's a retrospective, after Sunday and Cody wins, or whether it's and we're joining you in progress. We'll see. We don't know. We just don't know. You never know because this is all something that could change with the stroke of a pen, depending on who wants to play with our emotions.
Bro, but I'm
happy to come back.
I have pictures and evidence of Triple H, some chickens, and some other things if this doesn't go the way that it goes. But thank you, Greg. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for being on the show, Greg. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much for being just one of our biggest supporters and everything you've done with us and for us throughout the years. But yeah, we're going to be right back on the A Show with the second batch of matches that we have for this. And I don't know what I might be wearing or what I've worn. I don't know. We're in the future, past, present at this point, but we're going to be right back on the A Show. Peace, y'all.